Hello, this is Ben Television News Roundup, a major compilation of the major stories in the weekend. And I'm Tunde Alabi. Thank you for joining us. Local and international observers have praised the conduct of the just concluded presidential election in Nigeria. The observers said that the election was free and fair. President Goodluck Jonathan has also been commended for accepting defeat and congratulating the winner, General Muhammadu Buhari. In his concession speech, President Goodluck Jonathan said that he had fulfilled his promise of a free and fair election.
I thank you all for turning out en masse for the March 28 general elections. I promised the country free and fair elections. I've kept my word. I've also expanded the space for Nigerians to participate in the democratic process. That is one legacy I would like to see endure. Although some people have expressed mixed feelings about the results announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, I urge those who may feel aggrieved to follow due process based on our Constitution and our electoral laws in seeking redress. As I have always affirmed, nobody's ambition is worth the blood of any Nigerian. The unity, stability, and progress of our dear country is more important than anything else. I congratulate all Nigerians for successfully going through the process of the March 28th general elections with the commendable enthusiasm and commitment that was demonstrated nationwide. I also commend the security services for their role in ensuring that the elections were mostly peaceful and violence-free. To my colleagues in the People's Democratic Party, I thank you for your support. Today, the PDP should be celebrating rather than mourning. We have established a legacy of democratic freedom, transparency, economic growth, and free and fair elections. For the past 16 years, we have steered the country away from ethnic and regional politics. We created a pan-Nigerian political party and brought home to our people the realities of economic development and social transformation. Through patriotism and diligence, we have built the biggest and most patriotic party in Nigerian history. We must stand together as a party and look to the future with renewed optimism. I thank all Nigerians once again for the great opportunity I was given to lead this country, and I assure you that I will continue to do my best at the helm of national affairs until the end of my tenure. I have conveyed my personal best wishes to General Muhammadu Buhari. May God Almighty continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I thank you all.
Accepting the result of the election which declared him winner, General Muhammadu Buhari stated that his task is to rebuild Nigeria and fight corruption.
I want all Nigerians to join me in congratulating and appreciating Mr. President for his statesmanship. President Jonathan engaged in a spirited campaign and was a worthy opponent. I extend my hand of fellowship to him. I look forward to meeting him soon as we plan the transition from one administration to another. He will receive nothing but understanding, cooperation, and respect from me, who led this nation to democracy. You stood in line patiently for hours in the rain, in the sun, and then in the dark to cast your votes. Even when the vote was extended to Sunday, in some places, you still performed your civic duties. You did so peacefully. You voted with your heart. Your vote affirms that you believe Nigeria's future can be better than what it is today. You voted for change, and now change has come. INEC has released the official results of the presidential election. INEC has declared that I gained the most votes with the required spread and thus won this election. In a more profound way, it is you, Nigerians, that have won. The people have shown their love for our nation and their belief in democracy. The declaration of INEC accurately reflects the will of the people. While there might have been some logistical obstacles and irregularities associated with the exercise, the result shall stand as what the people want. I thank all Nigerians who have made this day possible. Our country has now joined a community of nations that have used the ballot box to peacefully change an incumbent president in a free, fair election. To me, this is indeed historic. Most people will welcome the result because it is the one they voted for. Others will naturally be disappointed. I ask that we all be circumspect, respectful, and peaceful in these times. This was a hard-fought contest. Emotions were high. We must not allow them to get the better of us. This is not the time for confrontation. This is a moment that we must begin to heal the wounds and work toward a better future. We do this first by extending a hand of friendship and conciliation across the political divide. We hope and pray our friends in other parties reciprocate. I thank all the members of the All Progressive Congress, the APC, for their commitment and their hard work through the formation of the party, the campaigns, and the presidential elections. Let me equally extend my appreciation to the media, civil society, and security agencies for their selfless service. The international press and our friends abroad deserve special commendation for their support throughout the process. We promise a robust and dynamic engagement with your countries in matters of mutual interest to nations. In the interim, I call on all Nigerians to be law-abiding and peaceful. The eyes of the world were focused on us to see if we could vote in a peaceful way and carry out a representative election in an orderly manner. We have proven to the world that we are a people who have embraced democracy and a people who seek a government, a government by, for, and of the people. We have put one party state behind us. We have voted for a party and president that will serve and govern, but never rule over you. Change has come. A new day and a new Nigeria are upon us. The victory is yours, and the glory is that of our nation, Nigeria. I will make a more formal address to the nation later in the afternoon after receiving the certificate of return from INEC. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
The All Progressive Congress APC defeated the ruling People's Democratic Party PDP by over 2 million votes. Now back to the UK, the Prime Minister David Cameron and Labour leader Ed Miliband have both expressed confidence in their party's policies and individual charisma to finally lead Britain out of economic crisis after the next general election. The two leaders were put on the spot in the Channel 4 and Sky programme.
David Cameron, do you know how many food banks there were in this country when you came to power?
I don't have the exact figures, but I know that usage of food banks has gone up, and there are many amazing volunteers who man those food banks and provide an important service.
There were 66 when you came to power. There are now 421. 900,000 people took food parcels last year, free food parcels. You talked about broken Britain and fixing it. You haven't. It's more broken now than it was.
Well, I don't accept that, because if you look at what's happened with our economy, there are 1.89 million more people in work than when I became Prime Minister. We've got 900,000 fewer people on out-of-work benefits.
Is an increase in food banks a mark of success?
Look, obviously there has been an increase in food bank use. That's partly because of the difficulties we faced as a country. It's also, Jeremy, because we changed the rules. The previous government didn't allow job centres to advertise the existence of food banks. They thought it would be bad PR. I thought that was a wrong decision. I thought it was a poor decision. So we allowed them to point people towards food banks if they needed them. But look, the big picture is we want to get more people back to work. We've turned the economy around, and it's jobs that are the best route out of poverty.
Is it acceptable in a rich country like ours that there are that number of people depending on free food aid?
Well, obviously, I want fewer people to be using food banks, and I want more people to have the security of a job. But we have created 1,000 jobs for every day this government's been in office. Now, that's a statistic, but behind that statistic are people who are able to provide for their families, who are earning a wage, who are able to build a better life.
How many of those jobs are zero-hours contracts?
About 1 in 50 jobs are zero-hours contracts. Yeah. So this is an important point.
Could you live on a zero-hours contract?
No. Some people choose a zero-hours contract, for instance, students, because they want the flexibility. But what we did is, well, hold on a second, we outlawed, first government to do this, the idea of exclusive zero-hours contracts where you can only work for one business. So we passed a law saying that shouldn't happen. But it is a myth, as some people want to say. The jobs that have been created are all low-paid jobs. That's not true.
No one's saying
well,
I'm not saying
but that. The hint you're trying to give is that...
I'm saying there are 700,000 people on zero-hours contracts. Could you live on one?
No, look, as I said,
Could
some
you live
people...
on one?
Well, I want to create a country where more people have the opportunity of the full-time work that they want.
Could you live on a zero-hours contract?
Well, look, that's not the question. The question is...
Well, it's the question I'm asking.
Well, yeah, look, but the point is some people choose a zero-hours contract. If you're a student, for instance, and you want to do some part-time work, a zero-hours contract can work for you. That's why we haven't outlawed them altogether. What we've outlawed is exclusive zero-hours contracts. And no, I couldn't live on one of those, and that's why we outlawed them. It has been difficult. We've had a very difficult few years following the longest and deepest recession virtually in our country's history. Now, we're coming out of that. We created 1.89 million new jobs. That's 1,000 a day. The majority of those have been full-time jobs, not part-time jobs. Most of them have been in relatively well-paid occupations. Only 1 in 50 jobs is a zero-hours contract, and some people choose those contracts. But if you're asking me, do I want more people to have the dignity and security of work and a regular wage? Yes. Do I want a higher minimum wage? Yes. And we've seen the minimum wage increase now above inflation for the first time in many years. And I want to see that minimum wage go through £7, on to £8. And crucially, Jeremy, in terms of what the government can do, we have cut taxes. So we've taken the 3 million lowest paid people in our country out of income tax altogether. So you can earn now £10,600 before you start paying income tax at all. And I think that is vitally important, and that's been the priority for the government.
You sound gloomy most of the time. Are things really so bad?
No, but they could be a lot better. And that is the big argument of this election. You know, look, I think this is a choice between those who think this is as good as it gets for Britain and those who think we can do a lot better than this. I don't think it's good enough that we've got 700,000 people on 0 hours contracts. I think we can do something about it. And the Prime Minister said earlier that he couldn't live on a 0 hours contract. Well, I couldn't either. But let's do something about it. Let's turn this country into a country where if you work month after month, year after year, you don't end up on a 0 hours contract, but you have a legal right to a regular contract. That's just one of the changes that I would make. We can do a lot better than this. We're a great country.
OK, let's whiz through these two, shall we? Oh, first round of applause. Paula Pearson is next. Where are you, Paula? What's your question for Mr Miliband?
Paula.
I'm proud of my working class background and I'm now a high rate taxpayer. Labour's messages often leave me feeling demonised and ashamed of earning a good salary. How can I vote for you when you make me feel like this?
Well, I'm going to try and change... Let me see if I can change your mind. Look, I think that the thing that's happening in Britain at the moment is it's the very richest in our society, and I'm talking about like the top 1%, people earning over £150,000 a year, who are doing sort of OK. And I think lots and lots of people, including on middle incomes, are finding life really tough. Now, the question is how we do something about it. And I hope you'll get a different message from me tonight, if that's the message you've been getting from me. Let me give you an example. Tuition fees. Some people have criticised me for wanting to lower the burden of tuition fees from £9,000 to £6,000 because they say it'll help middle-class families. Well, too right I want to help middle-class families because I think lots of families are saying if my son or daughter is leaving university with £44,000 of debt, that isn't a good situation. Let's do something about it with fair changes. So, look, I want a country where you feel you're not struggling, you can get on, and that's one of the changes we'd make.
If you're a socialist, does that mean that you're anti-wealth creation?
No, I think wealth creation... It says on our party card, Democratic Socialist. I think that wealth creation is an incredibly important part of building a more prosperous society and a fairer society. But look, the difference with me, Kay, and this is important for the audience, is I think the way we succeed is not simply with those at the top doing well, but all working people succeeding. Look, I say it's when working people succeed that Britain succeeds. Now, that might sound like a political slogan. It isn't. It's actually a reality of the way a country gets on. So if hard work's rewarded for everyone, not just the bankers with six-figure bonuses, if you get a regular...
Sometimes seven-figure bonuses.
Or seven-figure bonuses. If you get regular hours, you know, and you've got some security if you're going out to work and doing the right thing for the country, if you're having an NHS that you can rely on, that's better for the whole country.
Okay.
I think we all benefit from that.
The interview was one of the series of TV debates lined up for all the leaders of the major and small parties in the United Kingdom. And with that stories on the UK, we come to the end of News Roundup for this week. Thank you for being part of it. I'm Tunde Alabi. I'll see you again soon.